I'm Marty Keenan, Dad's youngest son, and with all this talk of Churchill, I hope Father Murphy from County Meath, Ireland, didn't think that Larry had gone soft. I'm British, but Dad, that philosophy of never giving up is something he quoted a lot. I always liked the poet Dylan Thomas's phrase, "Do not go gentle into that good night, but rage against the dying of the light." And Dad raged against the dying of the light. He fought so hard. And my mom died in 2002, and then in 2003, one day there was daily mass right here, and Patty Degner showed up for mass. My dad wasn't there, which means he was either sick or dead. And Patty went over to the house to check on him and saved his life. He had flesh-eating bacteria, and that's tough, double tough. But I didn't think he would make it through that flesh-eating bacteria, and Patty saved his life. But he beat that, and it was just incredible. And then there was another incident where Dad he was losing blood, and they ran out of his blood type in Great Bend. And it was like, this looks like curtains again. But Dad got up off the mat again and again. A broken hip a year ago did little to slow him down. So he had last rites 7 times. And up until Saturday, he was 7-0 against the Grim Reaper. But the Grim Reaper only needs to win 1 time, and that happened Saturday. And I will say that Dad loved life. He wanted to stay in the game of life. He liked it so much. But in the end, he did go gentle into that good night and surrendered himself to the inevitability of death. But his stamina and will to live was just unbelievable. I mean, he conquered some health problems that were just staggering, and I so admired that. He died peacefully at the family home, and he was born 89 years ago, 100 yards away at the Dominican hospital, right across the street. And although he died a block from where he was born, he went so far in life in so many ways. Aunt Louise kept the family history. It was just fabulous, fabulous stuff. And she said that when Larry was a boy, in a family of 12, you don't get much attention when you're one of the younger ones. And when Dad wanted to get everybody's attention, he would shout, "This is serious! This is serious!" And he went from that position of relative powerlessness to become a person, a man that was very serious. Yes, he was playful, he was funny, but when Dad walked in a room, as a lawyer, you would think he was from Chicago or New York City. He was just such a fabulous lawyer. On the farm, we asked him on his last birthday, "Dad, what is your best memory of the farm?" And he said, "Laying on the back porch with a football under my head, looking up at the sky." And he said, "I knew there was nothing here for me." And so, he just was such a great lawyer. I've had people call me and say, "Your dad gave me advice to do this, this, and this, and I did this and this, and it worked out great." I've had a couple people call me this week and say, "Your dad told me not to do this thing, and I did this thing, and it turned out bad." But he was just so committed. And I can honestly tell you that if Dad had a choice between practicing law in Great Bend, Kansas, or being on the beach in Hawaii, he would choose practicing law in Great Bend, Kansas. And I couldn't blame him if he didn't believe me, but he was so committed and loved it so much. In his spare time, he would, most of us would read People magazine or something. In his spare time, he would read the latest Kansas Supreme Court decisions. And it's like, he was always working even when he wasn't working, and it was just incredible. He practiced law up till the end, and my mom always said, "Larry, I know you'll die with your boots on," and he did. He met with a client as recently as like a week ago. The Catholic Church, Mother Church, was his North Star, and although faith in Christ was the basis of his religion, he had a certain muscular Christianity, which Catholics call the corporal works of mercy. he was a soft touch. He would often mention Matthew 25 to me, "Whatsoever you do to the least of these, you do for me." As Mother Teresa said, Jesus confronts us daily in his distressing disguise of God's poor. Dad saw Christ daily in the faces of the sick, those in jail, the down and outers, and underdogs. And when he helped people, he didn't attach strings. But I will say, he did tell the grandkids when he gave them spending money for college, he specifically insisted that the money be spent on beer. And he was so proud to be Irish. He could not have been any more proud to be Irish. And it was a year ago this very time, Dean Mike Davis's daughter, who's a professional Celtic musician, her tour was going to come through Wichita. And I called Dad and I said, "Dad, Dean Davis's daughter is a professional Irish musician, and I'd like to sponsor her, see if we could sponsor her at the Artichoke, which is an Irish bar downtown in Wichita. Let's do it." And we sponsored her concert, and it was absolutely fabulous. And people said, "How do you know this lady?" And she's going to perform a couple songs tomorrow at the funeral. But being Irish was such a huge part of his identity. And Father Murphy, Dad was those Irish priests that I grew up around, they weren't too keen on the British, but that's right. Yeah, don't worry about the church. But anyway, but those guys were his best friends, spiritually. And what can you say about Dad? But I do know this: he not only had faith in Christ, but he proved it by helping God's poor. And I know that when he got to heaven, God knew him, and they knew each other immediately because Dad recognized Christ in the down and outers, the people in jail, the people that were needing help, and he helped and reached out to Christ as set forth in Matthew 25. Thank you.